Hi, everyone. Welcome to A Page I Love. This is Kevin Sharp, and today I'm joined by editor Heather Antos, who oversees the line of Star Trek comics at IDW. Heather, always happy to have an editor join me. Welcome to Comic Art Live.
Thanks for having me.
So, we've got some very strict rules around here about people choosing pages that they actually had an involvement with, but we'll bend them in this case. If you start off just telling us what issue you chose and who we're crediting for the art we'll be looking at.
This is a page from The Unbelievable Gwenpool number 25, the final issue of that run by the art team known as Guru Hiru. And I do want to just preface up front because it gets confused a lot of times. Guru Hiru is actually a team of two female Japanese artists. They're a studio. A lot of times they get credited as a singular male artist in reviews. So I just wanted to give both women the proper shout out. I won't butcher their names. I cannot pronounce their names.
If you could give us a brief glimpse behind the curtain for those who may not be familiar, you were the editor on this title at the time of this page. Could you talk about, in your editorial capacity, in what stages you would have seen this art as it's created?
Yeah, so as an editor, obviously I work with the writer on the script, and then it goes off to, well, in this case, it goes off to our translator, Aki Inagi, who is amazing and with whom this book would not be possible. Then it goes to Guri Hiru, and they work on rough thumbnails or layouts, which is the little chicken scratch stick figures, right, of how the panels are going to be broken down, where speech bubbles will go, et cetera, et cetera. And so that is actually the first stage at which I see any visual elements. Sometimes on this book in particular, because we did some very complex meta things, Chris Hastings, who's also a cartoonist and the writer, would do his rough version just to make sure it's clear. Because obviously, when you're doing complicated things in general, it's hard. But then also, when it has to get translated into another language, a lot of things can get lost in that translation. And so, Chris would be very, very helpful and do an even rougher version of those thumbnails to Guri Hero.
Could you talk about, as we now dive into the page that you chose, what was it about this particular page that made it your pick? Because you knew this pick immediately when we started talking about doing this. Tell us how you landed on this and what you see in this page that draws you to it.
So this is the final run of the series, and for those who don't know, Gwenpool is a bit of a meta character. She's a super huge Marvel fan from our universe, pops into the Marvel universe, and so she knows how comics works and the rules thereof and therein. And so her superpower is that it's knowing that there is a fourth wall, knowing there is a gutter space, knowing that there are pages that came before and there are pages that come after. She is aware that she is quote unquote being canceled. And she's scared. Does that mean she's dead? Does that mean her future is over? And in this page in particular, she meets future Gwen, older, wiser, mature, longer hair, Gwen, who literally you see them in almost in the metaverse of the comics. You see almost like in film strip forms, every single page of Gwen's history, every single page of Gwen's future, unbiasedly so. I think this page and this issue in particular really speaks to the parasocial relationship we have with our characters and the legacies that they leave on us, both in past, present, and future.
So, just from aesthetically, as you're looking at this, even story aside, can you talk about a little about what in the art in the page layout captures you as just a comic book fan aside from a professional?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just cool, like is this a splash page? Are there panels? Like at first glance you might just look at it and be like, oh, it's just two women sitting talking. Like what's so cool about that? But like there is a clear defined reading order of moment to moment throughout this page, that could almost be defined as panels, but there are no panel borders. There is no, oh, clearly you read, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the page. Like that there's There's nothing like that, but the collaboration between Guru Hero and Clayton Cole's, our letterer on the series, of how they guide the eye from moment to moment, is really skillfully and masterfully done in such a way that like you don't even notice it, and that's how you know it's good.
Final question, because we're on the Comic Art Live channel. Is this art traditional, digital, or a mix?
Oh, this art is digital, and it breaks my heart because every single artist who worked on Gwynful did so digitally. And so I couldn't own an original piece of art ever from Gwynful. So anytime I can get my hands on something that was like official Gwynful traditional art, whether it's like trading card design. I actually an artist just did some trading card designs that Gwen is appearing on, and she's sending me the original traditional so I can like physically own something. But this art is all done digitally. And that makes sense when you're working between, you know, a studio and house. They can almost work on the same page at the same time.
Well, Heather, thank you again for joining us. Please let the viewers know anything that you have coming out you'd like to draw attention to.
Yeah, so it's a big year in all things Star Trek comics right now. You can pick up issues from Strange New Worlds. You can pick up issues from the flagship Star Trek. There's Star Trek Defiant. There's Star Trek Picard's Academy. And available for pre-order right now is Sons of Star Trek #1. That is out on sale in March. So definitely get your hands on some of that Trek goodness.
Awesome. Thanks again, Heather.
Thank you.